The docking bay of Station Vega 9 was alive with noise and color. Traders shouted in alien tongues, plasma lights flickered overhead, and scents of metal, spice, and ozone filled the air. Among the crowd walked Ethan Cole, a tired human engineer fresh from a long cargo run. His translator device buzzed faintly in his ear, half broken from last night's bar fight with a drunken lizard merchant. He just wanted coffee. Something warm, something human. As he turned toward a vendor's stall, someone brushed past him, tall, graceful, moving like a dream in motion. Ethan stumbled, trying to sidestep. His hand shot out instinctively for balance and landed right where it shouldn't have, on her. The alien woman stopped. Her skin shimmered like moonlight over silver water, and her long braid of pale blue hair glowed faintly in the neon light. She turned her head slowly, golden eyes locking on him. The crowd went silent. Ethan froze. His hand was still there. "Oh, no, I didn't mean..." He yanked it back like it was on fire. "I'm sorry." "Total accident!" For 3 long seconds she just stared. Then, to his horror, she smiled. Her voice came smooth, musical, slightly distorted through his damaged translator. "I like that," she said softly. "Do it again, human." Ethan's brain short-circuited. Around them, several aliens gasped, some covering their mouths, others whispering rapidly. The vendor dropped his steaming mug in shock. "Wait, what? No, that's not... I didn't mean..." Ethan stammered. The alien woman tilted her head, amusement dancing in her golden eyes. She was tall, almost a head above him, wrapped in a form-fitting coat of deep violet, patterns pulsing faintly like starlight. Her aura carried authority and danger. "You're brave," she murmured. "Most humans flinch when they touch a Zarathi noble." Ethan blinked. "Noble? You mean, you're... Oh no." A deep hum rippled through the station. Guards in black armor appeared, their weapons gleaming with blue plasma. They surrounded them instantly, their helmets reflecting the neon lights. "Lady Syraxis," one said in a deep mechanical voice. "Are you harmed?" The woman, Lady Syraxis, didn't look away from Ethan. "No harm, just curiosity." Ethan's stomach dropped. "Look, ma'am, I didn't know. I swear I didn't." Her lips curved. "Silence," she said softly, and the guards froze. "Not him. Them." She turned slightly, golden eyes glinting. "Do you know what you've done, human?" He shook his head. "Made the worst first impression in galactic history?" She laughed, light, musical, and terrifying. The kind of laugh that promised chaos. "In our culture," she said, touching a noble uninvited means one of 2 things, a challenge. She took a slow step closer. Or a proposal. Ethan's jaw dropped. "A what? No. Definitely the first one." "Challenge." "I'll take challenge." The crowd burst into whispers. The guard's armor plates vibrated with tension. Syraxis studied him carefully as if scanning every molecule. "You choose a challenge?" She repeated, "Yes. I mean, wait, what does that mean?" Her smile widened. "It means you'll meet me again, human, tonight at my vessel. We'll see how brave you truly are." Before he could answer, she turned, her coat swirling like liquid night, and walked away. The guards followed silently. The crowd parted for her like water. Ethan stood in the middle of the docking bay, heart hammering, palms sweating, brain screaming. A vendor nearby whispered, "Human, you just got invited by a Zarathi royal. You lucky fool. Our dead man." Ethan looked down at his trembling hands and muttered, "I just wanted coffee." But deep down, under the panic, something stirred. A spark of curiosity, a thrill. He had seen something in her eyes. Something not cruel, but lonely. He didn't know it yet. But this accident, this stupid cosmic accident, would change his life forever. Somewhere far across the station, Lady Syraxis paused before boarding her ship. Her golden eyes glowed softly as she whispered to herself, "Finally. Something interesting." The next few hours were chaos. Ethan couldn't take 3 steps in the market without someone whispering or pointing. Some aliens giggled, others stared in shock, and a few bowed as if he'd become someone important overnight. Every time his translator crackled, he caught fragments of gossip. Human suitor, royal challenge, chosen by Syraxis. Chosen? He hadn't chosen anything. He'd just tripped. By the time he made it back to his cargo bay, his shipmate Rin, a short orange-skinned mechanic with 4 eyes and an attitude, was waiting for him, holding a datapad. You absolute idiot, Rin said flatly. Do you have any idea who you touched? Ethan dropped into a chair. Oh, just the galaxy's most dangerous noblewoman. Yeah, I'm starting to get that. She's not just a noble, Rin hissed, waving the datapad. She's Lady Syraxis of the Zerathi Dominion. Her family owns half the core trade routes. The last person who made her angry got erased from all records. As in, deleted from existence. Ethan groaned. Great. Guess I'll pack my things and vanish before dinner. Rin leaned in, whispering. Except, it's not that simple. Word's spreading. They say she smiled at you. That means she's claiming you. Ethan blinked. Claiming me? Like, pet claiming? Rin shrugged helplessly. No one knows. The Zerathi don't do logic. But if she summoned you, you'd better go, or they'll come get you. Before Ethan could reply, the bay door opened with a hiss. 3 tall armored guards stepped inside, their black armor reflecting the dull ship lights. The lead one spoke through a translator. Human Ethan Cole, Lady Syraxis requests your presence now. Rin mouthed, dead man walking. Ethan forced a smile. Fine, let's see what my new girlfriend wants. The guards didn't laugh. The journey to her ship felt like walking into another universe. Her vessel, the Starvale, hung docked at the highest tier. Massive, elegant, almost alive. The hull pulsed with faint blue veins of light. Inside, everything gleamed silver and white, walls breathing softly like they were grown, not built. Ethan followed the guards through a long hallway until they stopped before enormous crystal doors. They slid open soundlessly. There she was. Lady Syraxis stood at the center of a wide chamber filled with soft mist and floating lights. She was draped in a flowing robe of violet silk, her eyes bright like molten gold. Human, she said, turning toward him. You came. Ethan rubbed the back of his neck. Didn't have much of a choice, really. Good, she said simply. It shows obedience, he frowned. Excuse me? She walked closer, her movement slow and deliberate. Your behavior earlier, your boldness was unusual. You touched a Zerathi noble in public. That means you must answer in private. Look, I swear it was an accident, he said. On Earth, we just bump into people sometimes. It doesn't mean anything. Her brow furrowed, then softened. So your kind touches freely. He hesitated. Not freely, just unintentionally. Usually ends with an apology, not an intergalactic courtship. She studied him for a moment, then smiled faintly. Interesting. You are clumsy, yet honest. Most males here only touch when they want something. Well, I wanted coffee, Ethan muttered. Her laughter filled the room. Light, silvery, echoing through the chamber. You amuse me, human. Glad to be of service, he said dryly. She circled him slowly, her perfume faintly sweet and metallic. Our customs differ, she said softly. But you have drawn attention. Others will test you now. Rivals, suitors, even the council. You may need protection. Protection? He asked. From what? Compliments? From ambition, she whispered. Because now, they believe I've chosen you. Ethan blinked. Wait, chosen me for what? She smiled, slow, dangerous, beautiful. You'll find out at dawn. Before he could ask another question, the crystal doors closed between them. Ethan stood alone in the hallway, his pulse racing. He had no idea what dawn meant to a Zerathi, or what he'd just been pulled into. But one thing was certain. This was no longer a misunderstanding. This was the beginning of something much, much bigger. Ethan didn't sleep that night. He sat inside his ship's small cabin staring at the flickering ceiling lights. Rin had already locked himself in the engine room, muttering about funeral arrangements and writing last words. The only thing keeping Ethan company was the soft hum of the space station's reactors and the memory of her, that smile, those golden eyes, that strange, playful threat. You'll find out at dawn. When dawn came, he regretted not hiding in a cargo crate. The same armored guards arrived, silent and sharp as blades. Lady Syraxis awaits, the lead one said. Ethan sighed. Right. Let's go ruin my life properly. The elevator that took him to the upper deck of the Starvale was unlike anything he'd seen. The walls weren't metal but transparent crystal, showing the black ocean of space beyond. Distant stars shimmered like cold fireflies. He could see fleets drifting below, enormous ships marked with the same glowing Zerathi symbol, an eye surrounded by rings of light. Her family owns those ships? He whispered. The guard nodded. All of them. Ethan's stomach dropped. Great, I didn't just bump into royalty. I groped an empire. The elevator stopped. The doors opened into a hall that looked like a dream. High arches, waterfalls of silver light, and statues of strange winged beings carved into the walls. Music hummed faintly in the air, not from speakers, but from the walls themselves. At the far end stood Lady Syraxis, waiting beside a glowing throne that looked grown from living crystal. She turned as he approached, her long robe flowing like liquid shadow. You came again, human. I'm starting to think I should stop doing that, he muttered under his breath. Her lips curved slightly. Sit. He hesitated, then lowered himself into a chair that felt warm, alive, almost breathing beneath him. You are confused, she said. I will explain. That would be great, Ethan said, trying not to sound terrified. Because right now I'm not sure if I'm on a date or at my own execution. Syraxis smiled faintly. Neither, you are a curiosity and a complication. She stepped closer and the air seemed to hum around her. My family rules the Zirathi Dominion, a civilization built on hierarchy, perfection, and control. Every move we make is watched, recorded, analyzed. And yet, her eyes softened. No one has ever dared to touch me. Until you, Ethan swallowed. Yeah, about that. Total accident. Gravity, crowds, poor coordination. She raised a hand, stopping him. Accident or not, it made me feel something I had forgotten. Surprise. Her voice lowered, almost human now. Do you know how long it's been since anyone surprised me, Ethan Cole? He didn't answer. He couldn't. I've met warriors, scholars, kings, she continued. They all bowed. You stumbled. You apologized, and yet you looked me in the eyes. You didn't tremble. Ethan blinked. I was too busy panicking to tremble. She laughed, one on that soft melodic sound that somehow made his heart skip. Still, you broke our rules. And the council saw it. They now demand a clarification of intent. They believe you and I are bound, he repeated, voice cracking. As in married? In principle, she said calmly. Though I do not accept such simplicity. Ethan stared at her. So you're telling me the entire galaxy thinks I proposed to you because I lost my balance? Precisely, he rubbed his temples. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Syraxis tilted her head. Do you wish to deny it before the council? Of course, he said. I mean, I can't just marry an alien princess. Her golden eyes gleamed with mischief. You could? What? You could play along, she said softly. Just for now. It would keep you safe from their politics, and it would keep me entertained. He stared at her, torn between laughter and panic. Entertained? I almost died of embarrassment. Then live, she whispered, stepping closer. Prove that humans are not as fragile as they seem. Their eyes met. His full of confusion, hers full of something he couldn't name. For a long electric moment, the universe felt very small. Then she turned away, her robe sweeping the floor. Prepare yourself, human. Tonight you will stand before the Zirathi High Council. Ethan's voice cracked. Wait, tonight? As in today tonight? Yes. She looked back once, a faint smile on her lips. Try not to trip this time. As the guards escorted him out, Ethan muttered, First I hit her by accident. Now I'm accidentally engaged to her. What's next? Accidentally starting an intergalactic war? None of the guards answered. But somewhere deep inside the ship, the walls pulsed softly, as if the star veil itself was laughing. Ethan wasn't sure what was worse, the silence of the guards or the sound of his own heartbeat. They escorted him through the glowing corridors of the star veil, turning left into a section far quieter, softer. The air smelled faintly like rain and electricity. Doors here weren't steel but living crystal, each opening with a soft pulse like the ship itself was breathing. Finally, the guards stopped before an archway carved with strange symbols. Her private quarters, one said flatly. Enter when summoned. Ethan took a deep breath. Great, the Royal Lion's Den. Can't wait. Then the door slid open silently. Inside, the space looked nothing like the rest of the ship. It wasn't cold or metallic. It was alive. A wide chamber glowed with soft blue light. Transparent curtains swayed gently, though there was no wind. A pool of luminous water reflected the stars through a dome window. Strange flowers floated in the air like lazy fireflies. It was breathtaking and unsettling. At the center stood Lady Syraxis, barefoot, her robe lighter now, woven with threads that shimmered like liquid moonlight. Her long hair was loose, falling down her back in waves of pale blue. "Human," she said without turning. "You are early." "I'm sorry," Ethan said, trying not to stare. "I didn't know how long it'd take to walk through an entire space museum." She turned, her golden eyes catching the light. "You fear me," she said calmly. He blinked. "Is that supposed to be a question?" "No," she said, stepping closer. "A fact," he shrugged. "A little fear is healthy. Keeps me from dying stupidly." A small smile tugged at her lips. "You speak honestly. Refreshing." She gestured for him to follow and led him to a floating table of crystal. Dishes appeared from the air itself. Plates filled with colorful alien fruits, glasses that filled automatically with sparkling blue liquid. "Eat," she said. Ethan hesitated. "Is it safe?" Her eyes glimmered. "For now," he sighed and took a cautious bite. The fruit melted on his tongue like sweet light. "Okay," he muttered. "That's terrifyingly good." Syraxis sat opposite him, watching with quiet amusement. "Human customs fascinate me," she said. "Your people fight, build, destroy, and yet they still share meals with strangers. Food's universal," Ethan said. "Even enemies get hungry." Her laughter was soft but real this time. "You speak like a philosopher, more like a guy who's trying not to offend a royal alien." She leaned forward, resting her chin on her hand. "Tell me, Ethan Cole, why do you work on machines instead of leading your own people?" He blinked. "Because machines make sense. They break, you fix them. People, they break you." Her gaze softened. "Then perhaps we are similar." He frowned. "You? You've got everything, the power, beauty, armies, loneliness," she interrupted. "Don't forget that one." The silence stretched. He hadn't expected that. For a moment, she didn't look like an alien noble. She looked like someone human, fragile, tired of being untouchable. He found himself saying quietly, "You don't seem lonely. You seem trapped." Her eyes widened slightly as if no one had ever said that to her before. "Trapped," she whispered. "Yes, in a cage of expectation." Then suddenly the room pulsed with a soft tone. A small holographic sigil blinked above her wrist. She glanced at it and sighed. "The council grows impatient. They demand you be prepared for the right." "The what now?" Ethan asked. "The right of honor," she said. "It will decide your fate and mine." He swallowed hard. "Fate, great. Always wanted one of those." She rose and walked around the table, stopping just a breath away from him. Her perfume was faint like ozone after rain. "Do not fear, human," she said softly. "I will guide you through it." Her hand brushed his cheek lightly, warm, almost trembling. And for an instant, something electric passed between them. Ethan's voice came out, barely a whisper. "You sure this isn't still part of the misunderstanding?" She smiled faintly. "No, Ethan Cole, this is the beginning of understanding," and with that, she turned and disappeared into the shimmering light beyond the curtains, leaving him standing alone, heart racing, thoughts spiraling, caught between fear and something dangerously close to fascination. He exhaled. "I really need that coffee now." But deep inside he already knew. He wouldn't trade this madness for anything. The next evening, the star veil drifted through silent space, glowing faintly against the blackness. Stars shimmered like frozen sparks around it. Inside one of its highest decks, Ethan sat in silence, waiting. He had changed into the formal clothes Syraxis's attendants had given him, a sleek dark tunic with glowing threads that adjusted to his body's pulse. He hated it. The fabric felt alive, like it was studying him. A chime echoed through the chamber. The doors opened and Lady Syraxis entered. Ethan froze. Gone was the formal robe of royalty. Tonight she wore something simpler, a long gown of soft silver that flowed like water. Her hair was tied loosely, her golden eyes calm but unreadable. "You look uncomfortable," she said softly. "That's one word for it," Ethan muttered. "Feels like I'm wearing a polite parasite." She smiled faintly. "It suits you," he chuckled nervously. "Can't say the same about my situation." She moved toward him, every step graceful, deliberate. "You fear the right tomorrow." He looked at her. "Fear? Try pure panic. You still haven't told me what it is." She stopped in front of him, close enough that he could see faint constellations reflected in her golden eyes. "The right of honor," she said quietly, "is a public ceremony. The council will demand proof that your claim to me was true, or condemn you as an imposter." Ethan's jaw dropped. Wait, proof? What kind of proof? Her lips curved slightly. You must face a test of courage. One chosen by the council. Dangerous, of course. They will not make it easy for you. He ran a hand through his hair. Fantastic. So I either die or I marry into alien royalty by accident. That's a great menu of options. Syraxis tilted her head. You could walk away now. Leave the station before dawn. No one would find you. He met her eyes. And what would happen to you? She hesitated. For the first time, her voice softened to a whisper. The council would call me dishonored. A noble who let a suitor flee. They would strip me of command, might perhaps exile me. Ethan exhaled slowly. So either I die tomorrow or you lose everything. Yes, she said simply. He rubbed the back of his neck. Well, that's unfair. For a long moment, silence filled the room. The kind of silence that carried weight, not emptiness. The air between them felt fragile. Then she turned toward the window, gazing at the stars. When I was young, she said softly, I dreamed of seeing other worlds. But my bloodline kept me bound. They said a Zirathi noble must never touch what is beneath her, never feel what common life is like. Her fingers brushed the glass. So I learned to rule, not to live. Ethan stood quietly, watching her reflection in the starlight. Do you know what your touch meant to me, human? She whispered. It was the first thing in years that wasn't planned. Not measured. Not perfect, he swallowed. It was an accident. Exactly, she said, turning to face him. That's why it mattered. Their eyes locked, her golden, his brown. And for a heartbeat they were no longer alien and human. Just two lonely souls orbiting each other in the emptiness of space. Ethan finally spoke. So what do we do? She smiled faintly. We survive tomorrow. And after that, maybe you show me what it means to be free. He blinked. Free? You're a princess. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Then teach me how to be human. He didn't know what to say. He only felt the strange warmth in his chest. The same one he'd tried to ignore since the moment she smiled at him in that crowded market. Then, without a word, she reached out and hesitantly, and placed her hand over his. Her skin was warm, pulsing faintly like light through glass. I will help you in the trial, she said softly, secretly. You won't stand alone, he nodded slowly. You know, Syraxis, for someone who terrified me at first sight, you're starting to sound almost kind. Her lips curved into a smile that was half sadness, half wonder. And for someone who should be afraid, you're starting to sound brave. She let go of his hand, stepping back toward the shadows. Rest, Ethan Cole. Tomorrow the galaxy will watch. He watched her leave, his heart pounding, not from fear this time, but from something else entirely. As the door closed behind her, he whispered to himself, Tomorrow, huh? Guess I better make humanity look good. Outside, the stars shifted, silent witnesses to a bond neither of them had expected. Morning on the Starvale was unlike any sunrise on Earth. The ship rotated slowly toward a nearby star, flooding its silver hull with golden light. Inside, every corridor shimmered. But the beauty did little to calm Ethan Cole's shaking hands. He stood in front of a massive door carved with a Zirathi sigil, the eye within the circle of light. Two guards flanked him, silent and expressionless. He tugged at his tunic's stiff collar, whispering to himself, Just breathe, Cole. You're not dying today, probably. The door slid open, a blinding light poured through. Ethan stepped inside. The council chamber was a dome of living crystal. Thousands of alien eyes watched from the terraces above. Floating drones projected their voices into a chorus of echoes. At the center, on a raised platform, stood the High Council of the Zirathi, robed in luminous white. And beside them, radiant and calm, stood Lady Syraxis. Ethan's heart jumped when she looked at him. For the briefest moment, her golden eyes softened, a silent promise. A counselor spoke, his voice deep and vibrating like thunder. Human Ethan Cole, you stand accused of breaching sacred etiquette, yet you were chosen by Lady Syraxis herself. The right will determine if fate favors you, or condemns you. Ethan forced a smile. I'd prefer the first one, thanks. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. The counselor ignored him and gestured toward the center. The floor opened, revealing a wide pit filled with swirling blue energy. Strange platforms rose from it, floating in midair, each glowing, unstable, alive. This, the counselor said, is the trial of honor, a test of strength and will. Cross the platforms. Reach the other side. The energy field below is lethal. Fail, and you die. Ethan's throat went dry. No pressure, huh? The audience hissed with amusement. Syraxis stepped forward. He is not Zirathi. Allow him a single advantage of an interface band. The council debated silently, then nodded. A guard approached Ethan, placing a slim metallic band around his wrist. It hummed softly, syncing to his heartbeat. Syraxis's gaze met his. Trust the rhythm, she mouthed silently. He nodded. The counselor raised a hand. Begin, the first platform pulsed. Ethan stepped onto it and instantly it wobbled. A surge of energy pushed against his feet like invisible waves. He nearly slipped but steadied himself. Okay, one step at a time, he muttered. The second platform was farther. He jumped and gravity shifted sideways. He screamed, spinning midair, landing awkwardly on his knees. Gasps filled the chamber. The platform tilted dangerously. He glanced at the wristband. The light was pulsing in a rhythm. 1, 2, pause. He adjusted his breathing to match it. The platform stabilized. Oh, he whispered. That's what she meant. Platform by platform, he moved forward, guided by the steady pulse. Each leap became smoother, more confident. Sweat ran down his back. The crowd's whispers turned into a low hum of disbelief. Halfway across, the lights flickered. The band on his wrist sparked. The rhythm broke. The platforms began to drift apart. Uh-oh. A bolt of energy struck the floor near him, sending shockwaves through the pit. Ethan lost his balance and slipped, falling toward the deadly blue field. Time slowed. Then, a golden flash. A surge of energy wrapped around him, forming a shimmering barrier. It lifted him gently back onto the platform. He looked up and saw Syraxis, her hand raised discreetly, her eyes glowing fiercely. She was helping him, channeling her own power. The council noticed. Lady Syraxis, one shouted. You interfere. She didn't flinch. I ensure fairness, she said calmly. Ethan pushed himself up, heart racing. Thanks for the save, he whispered. He leapt again. 1 platform, 2, 3, until his boots hit solid ground on the far side. Silence. Then, applause. Thousands of Zirathi, normally emotionless, clapped their glowing hands in eerie rhythm. The council rose in acknowledgement. The human, the lead counselor said slowly, has completed the trial. Honor is proven. Ethan's knees almost gave out. Syraxis approached him, her expression unreadable before the crowd. But her eyes, they were alive with quiet pride. You did well, she whispered as they walked side by side out of the chamber. I almost died, he whispered back. You also lived. She replied softly, and that is rarer. He looked at her, grinning weakly. You know, for a terrifying space princess, you give great pep talks. She smiled, the true human smile. Perhaps, she said. You bring it out of me. As they exited into the golden light of the corridor, the crowd still chanting his name, Ethan realized something impossible. He had just won the respect of an alien empire. And somehow, he wasn't afraid anymore. The corridor outside the council chamber was quiet now, the echoes of cheering fading behind them. The silver walls of the star veil pulsed softly, as if the ship itself was breathing with relief. Ethan walked beside Lady Syraxis, his legs trembling from exhaustion, his mind spinning from what had just happened. He'd leapt across death, defied gravity, and somehow survived an alien death course, all in front of thousands of glowing-eyed nobles. He should have felt proud. Instead, he felt dizzy. Do they always try to kill people they like? He asked weakly. Syraxis smiled faintly. It is tradition. He laughed once, dryly. You people need better hobbies. They reached a tall window where the stars looked close enough to touch. Syraxis stopped, the golden light of her eyes reflecting the galaxies beyond. You've done something impossible today, human. They will sing of it. Ethan leaned against the wall, panting. Yeah, but will they pay my medical bill? Her lips curved upward. You just even at the edge of death. He met her gaze. If I stop joking, I start screaming. A brief silence fell between them, the kind that feels heavy, not empty. She stepped closer, her expression softer now, the proud mask gone. Ethan, she said quietly, do you know what they will call you now? An idiot with good luck? Her golden eyes glowed faintly. No, champion of Syraxis, he blinked. Wait, champion? Like bodyguard? Like partner, she said softly. Our customs see it as a sacred bond. You stood where no Zerathi male dared. You faced death for honor that was not yours. That is rare and beautiful. He scratched his neck. So basically, I tripped into being your royal boyfriend. Her laughter filled the corridor, soft, melodic like silver wind chimes. Perhaps the universe tripped with you. Ethan looked at her, and for the first time, he didn't see the alien princess or the power behind her. He saw someone tired of being worshipped, someone who wanted to feel something real. Syraxis, he said quietly. What happens now? She turned to the window again. Now the council must record the outcome. My reputation is safe. Yours is legend, he smiled faintly. Legend, huh? Not bad for a guy who just wanted coffee. She stepped closer, close enough that he could feel the faint hum of her energy field against his skin. Her voice lowered to a whisper. You were different from the moment you touched me. Not because of the accident, but because you didn't fear what you didn't understand. He chuckled softly. Oh, I was terrified. Still am, her eyes softened. Then you hide it well. The stars beyond them shimmered. Neither spoke. The silence stretched until the distance between them became unbearable. Then, she reached out, slowly, carefully. Her hand brushed his cheek. Warm, alive. Ethan froze, heart pounding. Syraxis. In Zerathi culture, she whispered, a touch on the cheek means unity of breath. It is our kiss, he swallowed hard. So, this is a royal thing? Her eyes glimmered. No, this is our thing. And then she leaned forward, resting her forehead against his. The world seemed to stop. Light rippled around them. Blue, gold, white. A storm of colors bursting from her aura and wrapping around them both. His skin tingled, his heart raced, and for a moment he felt her, not just beside him, but inside his mind her thoughts whispered through the glow. You are strange, human, fragile, unpredictable, and wonderful. He smiled faintly, whispering back, You're terrifying, and perfect. The light dimmed slowly. She stepped back, her cheeks faintly flushed, a rare sign of vulnerability for her kind. The bond is sealed, she said softly. The council cannot question it now. We are united, not by law but by will. Ethan rubbed his forehead. So I'm officially your, what partner? Consort? Space accident? She smiled. The kind of smile that could start wars or end them. You are my human, and I am your alien mistake. He laughed, the sound echoing through the vast corridor. That might be the best title I've ever had. She turned toward the window again. Then wear it proudly, Ethan Cole. For 2 worlds now watch us, and then perhaps they'll learn from our foolishness. He looked out beside her, watching the distant stars drift by. You know, Syraxis, if this is how your people say hello, I can't wait to see how they say goodnight. She raised an elegant brow. Careful, human. You may find out sooner than you expect. And as the star veil drifted silently through the endless sky, 2 figures stood side by side. A human who stumbled into legend and an alien princess who finally remembered what it meant to feel alive. Their story, born from a single accidental touch, had become something the universe itself would never forget.